Hi there, welcome to Grain TV. I'm Kevin McNew. It's Thursday, March 16th. Let's take a look at Grain Edge's trading platform and see how we traded today. Grains had solid gains in the overnight session, but the opening bell this morning saw more selling, pushing May beans back to the $10 mark. Corn headed lower as well, but found some modest buying about 30 minutes into the day trade. By the end of the day, grains climbed a little bit higher. Beans took a run at 10.05 before selling in the last 10 minutes pushed it down to the $10 mark. On the close, corn up 2.5, beans up 3.5, and wheat in Chicago was unchanged. Welcome back. Let's take a look at some of the news that is shaping the market today. First of all, let's start with flash sales from USDA. We got two rounds of flash sales, one for 120,000 metric tons of hard red winter wheat to Algeria, and another one for soybeans, this time 120,000 metric tons for unknown. So that was certainly supportive, but really gave the trade no real firm direction. Other news that is continuing to sort of shape the market is the situation in the southern plains, where it continues to be dry, but meteorologists are calling for reasonably good chances of rain in two different weather events, one around March 22nd through the 24th and another one March 26th through the 28th. But the problem with these weather patterns is they're not expected to hit the southwestern part of the plains, staying more to the north and the east. So the Oklahoma Panhandle and western half of that state, Kansas, western half, and Texas will not likely see much moisture. Obviously, it's still a ways down the road, but with temperatures warming up into the weekend and the already dry situation, it certainly will be important to see what these two weather systems bring when we get to the end of March. Let's take a look at USDA's export sales this week. These were moderately supportive, especially in the case of corn. We had corn, old crop, and new crop beating expectations. Corn, old crop, 1.2 million metric tons versus 700 to 1.0 million metric tons expected, and new crop coming in just above expectations at 218,000 metric tons. Soybeans was on the light side on old crop coming in at 471, but new crop was supportive at 225, and wheat continuing to be steady within expectations for both old and new crop. Let's take a look at the scorecard and see how we're stacking up relative to what USDA is expecting. First of all, let's start with wheat. Wheat has been steady all year long, really nothing out of the ordinary one way or the other, and so we continue to sort of be on pace. When we look at the wheat chart, in green is the pace line, what we need based on historical sales patterns to reach USDA's export forecast. So that's the pace line in green. In blue is last year's sales for this time of year, and what you can see in red is where we stand relative to those various lines. In green, we are right on pace for this time of year. So basically, there's no real expectation of us seeing USDA revise their export forecast in wheat, with only about 3 more months left in the marketing year. Now, the good news is corn, where we have been doing very good. Certainly of late, we've had some pretty solid export numbers. We are running 9.6% ahead of pace, even with a higher export forecast. So that is certainly supported. We'll see if it continues into the second half of the marketing year, but as of now, we are running at a very good clip to meet USDA's expectations and maybe even surpass them if exports don't fall off the chart. The same pattern is true for soybeans, still running well ahead of pace, and this has got some people talking about what USDA should be doing with exports. Some people think they should be raising exports. Some think that they're going to fall off a cliff and maybe we'll see some cancellations. And so USDA is right to stay where they're at. But certainly, based on where we are at halfway through the marketing year, we're 9.3% ahead of pace. The problem I see is our unshipped or committed exports that haven't been shipped yet is a very, very high 8.1 million metric tons. You have to go all the way back to 2010 the last time we had this much unshipped exports at this time of year, and that unfortunately was one of the rare years when we saw exports not meet expectations from USDA. We saw USDA's final export number actually come in 5% lower than their February or their March forecast, based on weak export sales and some cancellations in 2010. So this year unfortunately has similar parallels to that 2010, and when you think about what potentially is coming from South America's harvest, it may spell problems for the final export numbers. Let's switch gears and look at the Dees corn chart. We've been looking at November beans. Let's switch today and talk about Dees corn. We have managed to bounce off of that 381.5 mark here that set the low about 3 days ago. It also was a low not all that long ago in January, around the January 12th crop report. So that has proved pivotal for us sort of inching higher. We haven't catapulted higher here, but we have managed to get some buyers back into the market, and I think we may have a hard time taking out that low ahead of the March 31st plantings report. You know, we have a lot of uncertainty about what the acres will be. Certainly people are looking for a 4 million acre cut in corn plantings. The other thing that potentially could shape the corn market in the coming months is the outlook for spring weather. Right now the Climate Prediction Center is calling for higher rain potential in the western corn belt from Iowa, Minnesota, and into the Dakotas. So that has the potential to delay planting of corn and potentially shift some of those corn acres into beans if it persists for a significant time period. So I think it may be hard for us to take out the 381.5, especially ahead of that March 31st report. That's all we've got for today on Grain TV. As always, if you'd like to learn more about how we can help you in your own grain marketing situation, visit us online at grainhedge.com. Have a great day. We'll talk to you on Friday.